welcome in. Hi guys, sorry I'm late as usual. Always late, but I made it. I'm glad you guys are coming in. Be right back, 1 second. Welcome in. Hi Macy girl. Hi Betty Marie. Hi Breaker. Hi Alicia. Hi everyone. If I missed you, sorry. Apologize. Apologize for being late. I think everyone's knows that I'm usually going to be 15 to 30 minutes behind schedule. Hi Lisa. Hi Country Bumpkin. Good evening, honey. Hi, my father's angels. How are you? Hi, Bam Bam. Hi, Shirley. Hi, stranger. Hi, Kat. How are you? Hi, Marty. Thank you, Marty. I've been wanting to change my profile picture for a while because I do like to go into other lives outside of the awareness community, and I'm never taken seriously with that profile picture. So, and I've actually been blocked before with that profile picture, so it's time for it to change. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Alicia. I'm doing great. Hi, Karma's Bestie. Welcome in. Hi, Rob. Hi, Peekaboo. Hi, Jeffrey. Long time no see. Hello, Lieutenant's wife. Yeah, I can't tell y'all how many lives I've been. Hi, K9. Hi, Nana. I can't tell you how many I've been booted out of just because of that profile picture. It's embarrassing. So it was time to change it. And of course, it's AI. It is AI. It's an AI picture. Hi, Miss Grace. How are you? Hi, Otto. Hi, Jill. Retired fire captain. Okay, I'll check. Thank you. Hi, Karen. I've been doing good, K9. I've been busy, busy, busy as usual. But I wanted to make time to have a live tonight when, I feel there's something important to talk about. I make time for it. And tonight's live means a lot to me. And I hope that it means a lot to everyone else, everyone who's, a creator in the awareness community, everyone who are followers of those of us who bring awareness. It's, it's important. So we're going to talk about that tonight. Good evening, Rick. Been doing good, Nana. Hi, Deb Deb. Hello, Melissa. How are you? Hi, Game Got Gal. How are you doing? Hi, Karen. Hi, Dawn. Thank you to my mods who are coming in. I appreciate you guys. I'm not gonna have anyone in the boxes tonight, so if anyone requests a box, I'll let them up. I don't think I'm gonna need boxes tonight or open them up. Tonight will probably be one of many lives because there's a lot that needs to be covered. I don't think I can cover it all tonight. I'm gonna try to summarize most of it tonight, but they're definitely gonna need to be. I'm gonna need to hold more lives. Hi, Vicky. Hi, Dubs. Been waiting all day, camping girl. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Val and Rain. How are you? Hi, Sherry. Welcome in. Thank you, K9. I appreciate that. I might reach out to you. I think I'm following you. I'm not positive. I'll check though. Let me see if I am. Yeah, I just followed you. The topic, perfectly imperfect, the topic. We're going to get to that. I might piss some people off, but I would like. Um, I hope that everyone just hears me out because the information that I'm going to talk about is very important for the sake of the awareness community. Hi, Joanne. Hi, JP. Hi, Diva. One second, y'all. Hi, Samantha. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. Hi, Pine Tree. Hi, Rammer. Everybody's coming in to support. I appreciate y'all. Hi, Butterfly Lady. How's my microphone doing so far? Is it doing all right? Can y'all hear me clearly? I hope it holds out. I can start now. Hi, Donna. Hi, boss. Everything's good. You can hear me? Awesome. Yeah, there seems to be a problem. Like the instant someone comes into a box, it becomes muffled. So I don't know what the deal is. My phone's a dinosaur. I'm ready for a new phone. I've needed a new phone for the past 3 years, but I just don't like changing phones. So, and I got the fancy Z Fold a few years ago because I had the big screen on the inside and it was awesome. But within a year, the inside screen broke, so I could only use the outside screen. Hi, Simple. Welcome in. I'm try begging for a phone. Please don't hold lives about me tomorrow. Actually, there may be lives held about me tomorrow after tonight. We'll see. But if there is, it's all right. Change is good. Yeah, we're going to talk about that tonight, actually, Tammy. Change. We need to have some change. I'm going to get to it, Tammy. Karen. I'm glad that you brought some friends. Thank you. I'm just going to give another minute or so. GoFundMe for a new phone. I've been looking to see what the specials are. If they're talking about you, they are talking about someone else. They're not talking about someone else. Heidi. Doing good, Tommy. How are you? K9 says he's got me on a phone. I'm always afraid that everything isn't going to switch over. And of course, we hate to lose anything that we have in our phones. Yeah, that's what I have. Susan is the one that has the big screen in the middle. And I needed it because, hi, SP's Road, welcome in. I needed it because I wear reading glasses, and it worked out great for me until it broke. So I put together a lot of information. To start with, I'm going to read what I would like to talk about because there's just so much. There's so much for me to remember off the top of my head. So I just put it all together. I'm going to read it and then we're going to talk about it. I also have lots of screenshots that I will be sharing. I think I may have mastered how to get my screenshots to work out on here. Okay, thank you, Karma. All right, I have the squeakiest chair on the planet. All right, so my live might piss some people off. I just ask that everyone hear me out. I feel that, what I have to say is very important. I have been getting a lot of messages from many people. Um, they want me to speak on this matter, these multiple matters, and they think it's important. I think it's important. Hi, Liza Tamari. Welcome in. I'm glad that you made it. So I'm going to talk about my introduction, you guys. So here we go. So if y'all can't hear me, just let me know. How good it is that we. I'm afraid to raise my voice or lower my voice. I don't want to mess up my microphone since it's working good right now. Because if y'all can't hear me, there's no reason for me to be here, right? Because if it's muffled, it's hard to hear. All right, so we're here today because I want to talk about the awareness that the camper crew claims to do. Now, listen, I did say that I might piss some people off, but please hear me out, okay? This is for y'all's protection. This is for the well being of the entire awareness community, the people who follow creators. I'm looking out for everyone, okay? So, I want to talk about the awareness that the camper crew claims to do and how that awareness has become corrupt over the past 3 to 5 years. Even with SP gone, we still see the same toxic patterns she helped create. SP's been off of TikTok for minimum of 5 months. The last post she made was to remind everyone that she had a birthday coming up in January, and it's even been about 8 months since she was arrested during her so-called awareness work. So once she was arrested, her awareness, quote unquote awareness, went to straight up begging. I'm going to play a clip because I think it's important that we remember what the foundation of Camper Crew was built on. So this is SP. I just think it's important that everybody remember where it all started. Before. Call me what you will, but bitches, you gonna call me paid. And I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give one fucks, don't give two fucks, don't give a red fuck, definitely don't give a blue fuck. So there you go. Ooh, I get to calling. And it's funny to me. Why did she want everybody in her chat to call them? You want me to tell you why? Because she knows what Colombia's got up their sleeve for her when she calls. Y'all gonna see when I talk to I'm not gonna give his name out right now, but when I speak to him this evening or whenever he calls me, I can assure you he's gonna say, there's a rent next door name saying that we can't put her in handcuffs. Well, they can put me in handcuffs if they want to. Because how many would y'all like to see? Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me some big stepping in it. Let me find my here. Let me just show y'all a few. Like, don't you think that if I was wanted by the police, that this restraining order that they sent out here, that they would have cuffed me up then? Me being some big bad criminal. Stupid bitches. Motherfucking lootly not. So that, of course, as everyone knows, was SP. And I played that just as a reminder of, the foundation of Camper Crew was built on that. She built that. Everybody knows how dirty she is. Everybody knows that she was scamming. It took a long time for everyone to believe it. I held awareness lives about it for months, and finally, when KK brought it to the attention of that her side of the community, then everyone believed it. So we got that out of the way. Everyone knows what SP is. So I'm not reading the comments right now, y'all, just so I can read this, but I will, if I miss anything, I'll try to get back to it. So I talked about it's been about 8 months or so since she was arrested during her so-called awareness. So in that time, Scotty, who many people are now upset with, was running with KK until just about 3 weeks ago. People have come to me and they're like, hey, this isn't right. How can they believe KK when she's been by Scotty's side every step of the way while he's been going after people in their group? Discord messages have been shared with me. You get to those Discord messages, those secret places. At this point, I have to say, there can be no truce when the corruption and the bad behavior have continued. So there is officially no more truce due to the corruption, the bad behavior. Everyone knows I washed my hands with Nikki because I didn't agree with the lies. I'm not going to support that. My page was not built on spreading lies. My page was built on truth and doing what I thought was best in the best interest of awareness. So let's see the main points. So the problem with this kind of awareness is very simple. It was built on lies to begin with. SP's foundation of lies. And when you let lies run the show, it can turn into a cult mentality. No matter what falsehoods you're being fed, you eat them up because you're more worried about who you're hanging out with online every day than about doing what's right. So then that's where that community mentality comes into play, where SP brought people in, made people feel like they're family. They loved each other, were your friend. But we see what happens and has happened time and time again within that community with SP, that mentality of you walk away and we're now going to attack you. The people that they bring in are the people that they will use to defend them and to protect them, because there's often dirty things going on. I want to be clear here. When I'm talking about Doug, I'm not taking up for Doug. I'm not taking up for anyone who scams. But I'm going to talk facts here. So we all know that Doug has had struggles. He's had struggles with alcohol. He's had struggles using language, using the N-word when he'd had too much to drink. And yes, Doug fought back when he was attacked. But we got to be real. Doug never wanted to know the camper crew. He did not want to know the camper crew. The camper crew went to him. You made yourselves known to him. And that's not awareness. What they did was harassment. By poking, fussing, trolling someone who's already battling addiction and barely holding on. Barely holding on. KK ran that YouTube, streamed Doug, ran that YouTube chat when there were 100 to 200 people, often more people in the YouTube chat than there were Doug's live, going at him and then trolling him. He didn't want them to be there, and he would block them. They'd make more accounts and go back in. And this was a man who had already segregated himself from society for his own purposes, moved into the middle of the woods, lived in a tent. What he had that he loved was a dog. The dog was stolen from him. And it wasn't that they wanted to save that dog. They hated Doug so much, they wanted that dog. They wanted Doug's dog. How many dogs do you think were passed along the way that could have been rescued? You could find dogs to rescue on every damn street corner. How many of those dogs were rescued? But no, they wanted Doug's dog because Doug was hated. So that's not awareness. That's a hate group. So going after Doug, who's barely hanging on, who was actually, there are episodes during lives that he was showing physical symptoms, practically, salivating from the mouth, foaming from the mouth, having seizures. You could see his skin color changing. He was in a very bad way, but they still did not stop. One day they loved him. Doug, we love you. We just want to help you. And the next day they couldn't stand him. They just terrorized that man. He was barely hanging on. And when Doug, from my recollection and my knowledge, when Camper Crew introduced themselves to Doug wasn't in that way. But Doug was sick. And Doug began coping the way that any addict knows how to cope, which is to numb themselves. And that's what he did. And he began overusing. And he told everybody, these people are lying on me. They're telling lies on me. And he wasn't lying. Doug was telling the truth. And now Doug is doing great. Thank God Doug is doing great. And I tell you what, the people who terrorized that man, they need to be grateful that Doug is doing great. Because had Doug died, this would be a different story. And I can make a suggestion. Anybody who thought that it was okay to sit in that chat and terrorize a homeless man living in the middle of the woods who separated himself from society, who only has his dog, to terrorize him day in and day out, spend $250 well spent on an attorney for a consultation. Go to that attorney, sit down with them for 1 hour and say, hey, I'm a part of this group. We go on with this person streams an individual on their YouTube. He's homeless. He lives in the woods. And we sit in a chat and we bully and terrorize him. You think that that's a good idea? The attorney's probably going to tell you hell no. And does your family know what you do for hours, day in and day out? But they're going after Doug. But meanwhile, there's actual predators out there. Let's look at Nick Wright, who's a pedo. He's been being covered by awareness people, but he's never been treated as viciously as Doug has been. Why? Because the behavior inside the group has been rotten for years. SP taught it. And it's been carried on ever since. Even with her gone, the behaviors continued. We gave KK and those members of the Camper Crew that KK admitted needed to disband a second chance. We gave them a second chance. We all gave them a second chance, and they failed. They failed. So KK and Ding Ding, they may not even be speaking now, but their roles haven't changed. They still talk about Doug. Ding Ding, who doesn't work, sits in his trailer, toking away on his lettuce all day, mocking Doug for being a security guard, as if that makes Ding Ding any better. His awareness is just as tainted as KK's and SP's. And before anybody says, well, didn't you cover Chris? I did. And guess what? I also was attacked by Camper Crew. I was accused of trafficking children. I was accused of calling the police on Chris. My people were accused of things the Camper Crew had already done to others. To Tara, Mufasa, and then again, after me, to Doug. And by the way, who are my people? I'm not in any discords. Who's my gang? Name them. I don't have a gang. You gonna say Otto's my gang? Otto's my friend. He supports me. He's been in my boxes many a times while I was bringing awareness to SP. So who is my gang? It's an imagination. It's an illusion. I don't have a gang. The only real gang here is the camper crew. And if you're still participating with them in any way, then maybe you should go sit in the Discord with Ding Ding and hide, because people are tired. They're sick and tired of the fake awareness, the dirty back-ended battles, the obsession over who's making money on the app, when they're all making money. And if you all claim, many people have claimed that they were brainwashed and part of a cult under SP, then why are you letting KK fool you now? You've been fooled once by SP. That's a question that we're going to explore later. So we've got characters involved, and I call these people characters because they present themselves as something that they truly are not. They present themselves as to what they want you to believe that they are. We have characters involved who are hiding behind masks. Best friends with real-life scammers, making shady decisions and doing KK's dirty work. Ding Ding knows exactly who Eric is behind the scenes, even though he pretends that he doesn't. Wasn't Ding Ding the one telling everyone that Homie was going down, that KK was going to get caught up, that Scotty was tangled into all of this? The only way that Ding Ding would know was if he were involved. You're either part of it or you're not. And right now, people inside the circle are telling on each other. That's what's happening now. And there are still people that are afraid to leave that circle. Please don't be afraid. Please, please don't be afraid. SP is no longer here. These people have no power any longer. They only have power if you allow them to have power. Don't allow yourselves to be lied to. You've been lied to already by SP. So many people were hurt by her. Don't allow yourself to be hurt anymore. So they're all telling on each other. But it's not Ding Ding, because Ding Ding wants to play like he's never done anything wrong. That's not true. He's been a huge part of the trolling. A huge part of what SP did. He knows who the trolls are. He's been part of the conspiracy. I have messages showing he and others plotted to terrorize Chris Busteller. I'll show those screenshots. So let's be honest. The whole quote-unquote awareness the camper crew has done has been tainted, poisoned, and filled with lies. All for your entertainment and for their views. And for their views. So tomorrow, after this live, tomorrow, we're going to see who steps away, who says, I'm done, and who keeps saying, I don't care what they do. These are my friends. And they're going to stay in those TikTok boxes for multiple hours, gifting, praising them, even if they've harmed people like Doug, or even worse, like Tara. But we're at a fork in the road now. And make no mistake, the entire awareness community sees you. They've been watching, and they are fed up with the bullshit. That was only one of 4 packets I want to go through tonight. And, in the beginning, I respectfully asked that, everyone have an open mind. I am truly doing this for your best interest, the best interest of the awareness community. Um, as a creator, as an awareness member, we gather information, we present it, and it's up to the viewers to see it, to hear it, and to accept it or not. Let's talk about Mr. Innocent, Mr. Ding Ding, Mr. Innocent, the one who's taking no accountability for his actions with SP, and he keeps saying, well, I wasn't really a part of SP's camper crew. I've never done anything. I've never gone real life. I've been the perfect little angel, and I was the good troll. I trolled with integrity. What in the hell? What trolls with fucking integrity? Do you even know what integrity means? But here's the truth. Ding Ding was with SP constantly for over a year. They trolled Brady, Chris Mosteller, Doug, talked bad about Mackenzie and Don, and even said that they had bad souls. Now he claims his innocence, acting like he's never done anything wrong. Now Ding Ding is trying to gather people into his own Discord, acting like he's creating a safe space where they won't be bothered. The only one who deserves to be bothered is him. The crew is trying to pull together in the same group. They're trying to pull together the same group that was used to gift SP. The majority of the members are people that were removed from scammers' lives and then became the friends of the camper crew, and then became the gifters of the camper crew. Ding Ding's in it for the money, just like SP was in it for the money. He says, I'm not going to turn off my gifts because my followers don't want me to. Please. That's the classic, that is the classic scammer line. Oh, I'm not asking for money, but if they want to give it, they can. How many times have we heard that? Ding Ding is like a mix of the scammers and the wannabe savior, acting like he's perfect, like he's done no wrong. But let's be clear, even if he's not as dirty as others or as nasty as SP, he's copied her tactics. He's out here gathering people, trying to hold on to a community that SP built, not him. What's really happening is Ding Ding smells the opportunity. While he's trying to break away from the main group, he's also working behind the scenes to fill his pockets and stir up battles. And disturbingly, he can't stop talking about Doug, mocking Doug's security job, while he himself sits at home all day, unemployed, indulging in his lettuce and playing pretend on the internet. Right. I'm not talking about everyone. I'm talking about there's some that are continuing to do it. There are many that have reached out to me. They feel horrible for things that they've done, and they no longer want to be a part of that. That's another reason why I'm speaking out. But we need to remember, Ding Ding has admitted to being an H user, an addict, alcoholic, yet he wants people to believe he's innocent and pure. The truth to the POS. And he's pulling people into his Discord to shield himself because he knows his time is coming. Sure, there may be others in front of him, but Ding Ding's day is coming. And if you think sitting in that Discord would keep you safe, think again. The only real way to be safe is to walk away now. Tell your family, tell your friends what you've been a part of, and cut ties, because sticking with Ding Ding means you're standing beside someone who ran wild on her camper crew for months with no consequences. When SP's empire crumbled, Ding Ding tried to slip away, but even then he kept stirring the pot, accusing others, like me, of picking on KK just for attention. And now look who's turned on KK. Ding Ding is all over the place, and again taking no accountability. And no, people shouldn't be gifting an ex-addict who just a month ago was saying that he almost relapsed from the stress of his fighting with KK and Homie. Honestly, Ding Ding should focus on his addiction recovery. It might be best for everyone if he just shuts down his little Discord and goes home, because he's done enough damage. He keeps acting like he can't be found. There's a lot of information that I've held on to for a very long time, because this information will be needed at some point. He may not have anything to lose, but his followers do, and they should know. If you've got a family, you got kids, or anything to protect, this is not the group to run with. It's not. Why? Because they've done bad stuff to people. Lawsuits will be coming. The burden of proof in a civil court is just a majority. And with all the admitted, documented behavior that he's been a part of, trolling, harassing, plotting attacks, he's involved. So here's the truth. Ding Ding was involved, and Ding Ding is likely going to be called to court. If you choose to stick by him, know what you're signing up for. Because it's like a gang on the street. Stay in, and you're likely facing the fallout right alongside him. Protect yourselves. That's my entire point, is protect yourselves, protect your family. If these aren't people that you are people that you would introduce to your families, your friends in the real world, don't run alongside them on the internet, because there's consequences of what people do on the internet, just like in real life. Protect your families and protect yourself. Yeah, great. Doug is a great success story. Thank God someone, Scotty and K9, actually saved Doug. They saved Doug. But others wanted him to fail. Because if he failed, KK still got views. But the moment Doug left and started doing better, her views plummeted on her YouTube. Simple. Who is Simple? Is that Doug? Or is that a troll account? Okay, Doug, can you request?
I just want to take time and thank you for what you're doing, what you've been doing. I know I haven't been a perfect role model. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm perfect because God knows I'm not.
Thank you for
People,
coming in, and I got something good to say for you. Good about you, honey. Good, Sarah. So please hang out. Doug,
there's,
no one deserved what happened to you. No one. Absolutely no one. You know, there were things that I did when covering Chris I feel ashamed of. I am so ashamed of. I never want to do things like that again. You know, I think we can all get wrapped up and get um, too wrapped up in it. And when we do, we all need to take a step back and say, you know, is this becoming too personal for me? We're putting people's lives in danger. We can't do that. We're not on here to hurt people and cause harm. You know, our goal is to help people and awareness.
you're absolutely right. That's what awareness is supposed to be, to a certain degree, to help people stay away from people, to either get that person that they're bringing awareness on to change, not to harass and manipulate. You're absolutely correct. But I'm just, for everybody that stood behind me, I like to give a big shout out to Scotty, the K9, and the people saying that, Scotty was just as bad. Well, I was just as bad too, but you guys don't understand. They manipulated and played Scotty because they used Scotty as a tool, is what they did. I know the whole truth. They used Scotty as a puppet. Scotty, he wanted to fit in, want to have a TikTok family too. Scotty got the heart of gold. And I'll stay on that. And I'll stick up for Scotty. Me and Scotty are good. We built a hell of a bridge. But Scotty was led astray by these people that thought they were actually good people. And he had to watch and observe them forever to see really that they were nothing but bully manipulators.
Are a success story, and I am so proud of you. And you look so good in your security uniform out there working.
Thank you, young lady. I appreciate that.
And how dare Ding Ding sit and mock you, claiming
You know,
security.
you know how they are. They're never. I mean, they gotta have something to talk about. If they're not putting somebody down, they're not happy in their life.
Must be the most unhappiest person. I couldn't imagine being so unhappy with myself that I have to sit behind a phone or a computer for hours, day in and day out, and just torment other people. Like, literally, is that what makes these people feel good?
I've asked myself that. Like, I mean, you got a few people, that they were after before they came after me. But when they came after me, the reason they came after me, the point being, is because of the money I was making, growing my content, living at a campground at the time, trying to go from campground to campground. But the money I was making is what lured them in, and they start saying I was a scammer. And this was back of at the end of May of last year in June, and that's what even started the whole page with me with them.
Many of your big gifters became SP's gifters,
They
and
did.
that was all part of her scam.
I know. I know.
And her community that she built was people you could not get in the door because her moderators watched that door like a hawk. And I know there's moderators in here that are watching that will attest to that. They watch that door like a hawk because we couldn't get the truth in.
Yep. That's their scam. That's their scam to cause chaoses in people's lives that they say they're bringing awareness to get the gifters. And it's not, all about that either. Okay, you got the gifters, but you're still fucking harassing me.
Right. Still, you're doing great now, and they're still wanting to harass you and make fun of you. Like, why?
Because it's just who they are inside. I mean, that's what makes their days, is to talk bad about somebody else. There's always going to be those people, they have got to gossip about somebody else to have the highlight in their life for today. And sadly to say, that is who they are. And I mean, it's I've never agreed with it. I've never been that kind of person. It just they're beyond beyond that is what they are. I mean, you can see the organization, who they are. You can see the people that they gift to try to win over with the gifts that they gift them.
Ones
They're
who
just, they're, they're,
gifting.
they're, they're a sad bunch. And I mean, and I'll say this right now, okay? TikTok is made to make money. TikTok wants you to make money because if you make money, you're making TikTok money or making TikTok money. Okay, they want you to make money. And, I wish everybody each on this app it's live. If they're here to make money, then fucking make money. That's what the app's for. Battles is not a scam. Okay, if people choose to gift somebody in battle, that is their right. There is nobody making nobody gift them. But my people, my family, my gifters, and the more I try to protect them, the more harm I was doing.
Time you were coping the best way that you knew how, which was to drink more and more and more.
Well, I had to drink more and more to fucking deal with it. I mean, it was just like day in, all fucking day, and they were just on me. And I'm like, man, how the fuck do they stop? And everybody's like, well, if you do this, you do that, you ignore them, they'll eventually go away. And I've tried ignoring them, and I tried ignoring them, and I tried ignoring them, and they would never go the fuck away. Then I realized, hey, read the comments on the YouTube chat at KK's. And I'm like, how the hell was this awareness? They're talking about set me up and all this other stuff at winter freaking camp and doing all ungodly things. And I'm like, are these people blind? Can they not read KK's YouTube chat? Tell me how this is awareness.
Shot from someone within her YouTube chat said that they had a planned trip to fly there and they were going to create chaos and havoc and get everyone kicked out, including you.
I remember that one. Yep, I remember that. Yep, I remember that. I mean, they went as far as to send the fucking women up there to the fucking property claiming to be homeless. And God only knows what she was going to try if I wasn't on live. I think the situation would she would have went back to the cops and made a statement trying to say that I tried something sexual with her. I think that's the way that would have went down. If the cops arrested me, then they would have came back to the camp and got Dolly.
Did they call the cops on you, Doug?
Do what?
How many times did they call the police on you?
My gosh. Let's just put it this way. When I was at winter camp, over 20 times. Fire department, 3 different times. Anything they can do. Humane Society. I mean, like, they brought awareness to the Humane Society because the Humane Society wouldn't come in what they call Rescue Dolly. They came up there 2 different times. They're like, we don't see what the problem is. Dolly's loved. There's nothing wrong with Dolly. I said, this is what they do. I said, now they're bringing awareness on you to this county because you're not doing what they want you to do. You're not taking Dolly, so evidently you're bad.
Part during Christmas time, you were live and you wanted for Christmas, you wanted your dog back. That's all you wanted.
Yep.
You wanted your dog back.
Yep. And I thought, that there was a good possibility that was going to happen because I found out that actually lint lickers had blue the whole time. And I was shocked. I'm like, she's pretty much no farther than a few hours from where I was at. And I was just hoping and praying that I would get my dog back. They would say, okay, he's doing good. Let's, we fucked up. Let's let him have his dog back. It didn't work out that way. And the scenario is it's not going to work out that way, Yeah, okay, we could put blue on the side of the road and I'd accidentally found blue. That'd be the only way I'd get blue back because, she's an accessory to a crime is what it comes down to. So she's not going to tell on herself.
Blue taken, they wanted to take your other dog, Dolly, as well. Now, you may not have been in the situation where I didn't follow you much. I didn't watch many of your lives. But you may not have been in a situation because you were drinking heavily, because you were constantly being tortured. You were trying to cope the best way you could. So maybe you couldn't take care of her Blue at that time. I don't know. I can't speak for that. How do you feel about that?
Repeat that again. I'm sorry. I had to let Dolly out the back. I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question?
Was taken. I've never really watched your lives that much. I didn't want to get involved. I didn't agree with what was happening. But Perhaps you weren't in a condition to properly care for the dog during that time. I don't know. I wasn't watching because you were trying to cope by drinking, by the shit that you were dealing with from them. You're being tormented. But still, if they reached out to animal control and animal control did not find a reason to take the animal, it does not give anyone the right to take the law into their own hands. You just have to accept the fact that that's the law. To go and what? Like fucking like it was a
You are,
felony.
yeah, it is. You're absolutely correct. But the way they work is if you do not do what they want. So, for an example, the law for say would be tools in their shed for them to use these tools to get to other creators like me, like Camp Talk, Chrissy, whoever else. At their disposable. They would call and harass them. Now, if these tools, which was the police officers, the Humane Society, the fire department, the resource center, did not do what they wanted them to do, they would bring awareness on them.
As an awareness, I hate to use the word community because that was SP shit. Awareness is not the place to come looking for friendships. Now, do friendships happen organically? Yes, people become friends organically, but it's not the place to come to find friends. There are many places on TikTok you can go to, or even within your own communities to find friends. But please don't come to awareness looking for friends. It's just not the place for it. But as an awareness community, I feel that it is our obligation if we ever see anything happening to another person that happened with Doug, we all need to step in and intervene, and we can never allow that to happen ever again. This man almost didn't make it. There's others that did not make it.
No, there's not. And I mean, we were talking about that the other night. We were actually talking about that by people being not as on social media, they harass them. If they get off of social media, they're still being harassed by them calling their jobs and getting them fired, or calling a school and figure out where their kids are and getting DFS involved and making these lies. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on. Like let alone did they already ruin your platform, but they want to ruin your life. Like they want to go that for real with you because they're not satisfied until you're at the bottom of the gutter. And even when you're then, that's still not enough for them. It's still not enough. I think what's enough for them is actually for a person, which we got a person, for example, to unalive themselves. And that's really what they were hoping I would do, was pretty much, I would never do that physically. It might have happened with alcohol, though, the way I was going.
For you that you didn't end up 6 feet under, and for the families of the ones who tortured you, you know, I praise God that that didn't happen either because their family member who was responsible for that
Yep, yep.
would have had to deal with that.
And I mean, I'm one of the best hearted persons you'll ever find. I'll give anybody a chance until they prove me wrong. And I'll still probably give them a chance after that, after they prove me wrong. But the thing is that these people, I gave them chances, to stop the BS, you know? And I'm like, hey, I'm a grown man, okay? If I'm going to have me a few beers at night, I'm going to have me a few beers. I'm a grown man. I'm 21 the last time I looked. They take the situation and say, well, he's acting this way because of the alcohol. No, I'm acting this way because you are a freaking attacking me. You are trying to ruin me. I mean, you're going far and above by harassing me, like things I've never even seen, thought of.
Outside of Camper Crew, Doug, they saw what was happening. And, that's another point of my life tonight is that if we ever see this shit happening again, we all need to intervene. Everybody. everybody needs to intervene. We cannot allow this to happen. We're
No,
not
we
here to kill people. We're here to help people.
and I like I told people the whole time, that there has got to be, I don't know what you want to call it, a group of people, you want to call it an organization, you want to call it our awareness to shed light on their evilness that is not awareness. That's what has got to happen, because we all have got to have each other's back. Because us as moral people that got a freaking conscience, that got, standards, can see the difference between what's right and wrong. If you can't see it, then you're manipulated by what they've got going on. Anybody with common sense can see what they were doing was not awareness.
The people that get wrapped up in it, they don't want to walk away. They've made friends, and they love their little community. But what they need to realize is that's not a good community to be in. That's a bad community to be in. You need to run away as fast as you can. Go and share with what you do with your family, and ask your family's opinion on what you should do. Ask your family's opinion. Is that a community that you should be hanging out with on the internet? Hopefully, they're going to tell you no. Is that a community that you should be hanging out with on the internet? Hopefully, they're going to tell you no.
Exactly. 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 And I feel sorry for all the people that, they attacked. And exactly. And I feel sorry for all the people that, they attacked. And I mean, especially for the one lady that, didn't make it. God bless her heart and God bless her freaking family. But there's gonna be consequences to that too. God bless her freaking family. But there's gonna be consequences to that too. I just wish, I think they all, each and every one of them, just need to get completely off the sap. I really believe that. One-heartedly. They all, each and every one of them, just need to get completely off the sap. I really believe that. One-heartedly. Believe they do not need to be on the sap. They're no good.
I agree. You know, when SP's foundation that she built, that is still being, I agree. You know, when SP's foundation that she built, that is still being followed today, they preyed on people who were vulnerable, people who were in addiction, people that have been through domestic violence, preyed on people who were vulnerable, people who were in addiction, people that have been through domestic violence, people that needed, maybe people who are lonely. They don't have family, they don't have friends. And so they reach out to these people on the internet and they welcome them in. They welcome Scotty in with loving arms. Come on in, Scotty. We love you. We're going to be your friend to the end. But really, they're like that Chucky doll, your friend to the end.
Exactly. Of course, you're exactly right. And, it's just, I think of everything, as far as me growing my content and the first time I relapsed and stuff. And I just try to put everything together. And I've had, when I was on top of my A game, I guess you could say, in battles, I had another creator come after me and say that, this is happening because of the money you're making off of battles. And, I had another creator said it was actually a bigger creator that was sending all these chaos in to me, because it started with the Joker guys who it started with, actually bringing awareness on me. And I don't know if you know who I'm talking about. Then it went to Lint Liquor. And then it went to Ding Ding. And then it went to KK. And I mean, it all started because I was making decent money doing battles, living in a campground. Kind of like Camp Talk Chris was to a certain degree.
Battle this app that's part of TikTok. Now, you're very competitive when you battle, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, whether or not that's what drew them to you, the way that you battled, you're competitive, that's your nature. That doesn't give them the right to terrorize you like they did.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But I think that's when it it just started with me is because I was making good revenue doing battles, and at first I thought it was people jealous and everything else, and but I mean that was just it hurt me that I got this Joker guy, and this lit liquor girl saying that I'm a freaking scammer because people are gifting me in battle.
People who are covering the ones that they're okay, like Ding Ding, for example. He had no business battling you. You don't go and battle someone that you're calling out as a scammer, you know?
You know how many times he wanted to battle me after the first time I battled him? Because I think it was the second battle we did. I think he made like over $500 that night in battle because they gifted the shit out of him to make sure I lost because I didn't really have a good hitting team at that time. But like he wanted to battle me all the time. Like he would send his people in and say, "Tell Doug, let's go battle. Let's battle," because he wanted the money.
Of course he did, as he sits at home poking fun at you for actually holding gainful employment when isn't that they what they wanted you to do? And now you're doing it, but yet they're still harassing you?
Oh, that's what they do. They can manipulate the case, even though he's dirty as shit. But they're making sure their client walks. They're that good at twisting shit around. They're negative. So to their definition of what the truth is, they're absolutely that fucking good. But
Is
anybody
so is
definition of what the truth is, they're absolutely that fucking good. But
is
anybody
So is I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the voice of reason said so it's everyone else's fault that you drink besides yourself. I want to make sure I understand. Reason said so it's everyone else's fault that you drink besides yourself. I want to make sure I understand. The voice of reason, you should know yourself that when someone is battling an addiction, that if they are driven to a certain point, they're going to turn to what they know to help them, which is coping in a very unhealthy manner, which is back to whatever your DOC is. And in this case, it was alcohol.
you got a room full of them in here right now, their supporters are in here arguing, and it's not because they don't agree with what we're saying. It's just because they're arguing in here. I mean, I'm looking at the chat right now, like this Tammy person.
Well, Sharon, I'm not even going to entertain that question or that statement.
I'm trying not to touch the chat. Yeah, but I mean, it's just a matter of time. I mean, I'm not worried about, having TikTok. I'm not worried about making revenue on TikTok. I don't need TikTok to make revenue. I do pretty freaking good. I get my first check tomorrow. But, I got a group of people, though, that like to talk to me, have coffee with me in a day. And I'm not worried, about what they think or what they got to say anymore. We've pretty much, a lot of us, like between Scotty and K9, what they think or what they got to say anymore. We've pretty much, a lot of us, like between Scotty and K9, they have shot, 90% of it down. But it's who's the next victim going to be? How do we know the next victim is not going to make it? What if this is going to be a repeat history where they can't handle it and they decide to, unalive themselves? Which, we got a prime example of that.
Actually, one herself who follows KK. Actually, one herself who follows KK that she actually commented on KK. KK posted a screenshot of what cyberbullying and terrorism is. And Tammy herself said that when somebody tells you that they want you to stop, then you should stop. So why didn't they stop with you?
I mean, that was sickening. 3 of them. As you know, they tried to get the resource center to run me off, and it wasn't working. So they figured they would try another route, and they threatened the staff at the resource center themselves with a letter saying if I'm not off the property in such and such time, that whoever's there around that time they come down to handle me are going to handle them too. Not one letter, 3 different letters. And yes, the cops were notified. Cops took the letters, everything else as far as evidence.
That's some typical SP stuff right there. It's still going on to this day.
You know, and their motive behind that was the resource center was going to say, like, you know, the campgrounds they this summer. Wow, it's just easier to get rid of him than have to deal with this situation, because we didn't have to go through this before, where our phones are blowing up, our emails are blowing up, they're finding out of what our Facebook accounts are and privately message us, you know, and just it goes on and privately message us, you know, and just it goes on and on and on.
You and Chris letters. Does anyone know? Well, SP admitted to the mole that she wrote letters to Chris, that she mailed things to Brady. So again, you're following someone and you're supporting someone, and this someone is your friend who is mailing things like that. So tell your family. I'm friends with people on TikTok who mail feces to people.
Exactly, exactly. You guys should be proud of yourselves for standing behind people like this, is all I'm saying. Because I know half of you guys in this chat are, you know, on their team, as you want to call it, you know, part of their group, their TikTok group. And, you know, where I'm going to say, you guys are some weak minded individuals. You guys are disgusting people, and you should really be ashamed of yourself. You should really be ashamed. The only person I can say that I've seen ever bring awareness the proper way, person I can say that I've seen ever bring awareness the proper way, was the Mexican homie. Now, don't ask what happened to him. I don't know why he's not on this app no more. It's none of my business. But he was the only one that addressed the issue and left it alone.
Doug, and finish up. I don't have a lot of time left, but
I'm going to go ahead and jump out once you do your live. Finish up your thing. Thank you for letting me up, and just thank you for addressing the situation.
that's what we should be doing in awareness when we see something like this happening.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. Should be doing in awareness when we see something like this happening.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I'll be in the chat. You have a good one.
Yeah, even Jennifer, there are many people Yeah, even Jennifer, there are many people that admit that they drink the Kool-Aid. It's okay to admit that, you followed someone who you believed in. You realize that, you followed someone who you believed in. You realize that later realized that you shouldn't have, but you didn't know people who can put you in a very bad situation based on what they're doing. Okay. So I'm going to move on. It's KK's turn. So, KK, this is the person who's had her hands in everything from SP to Scotty to Homie to Eric to Truth About You. I want to talk about the Truth About You situation. To, she's friends with Miss Homie. KK, the one who claimed she wanted a truce, claimed that she wanted to fix everything with SP. But here we are. SP's been gone behind the scenes. There's the battling, the trolling, the going after people who are in addiction, the YouTube channel spiraling out of control, the comments about going to people's homes, the stealing of animals, and even reports of showing out so badly at a campground that everyone gets kicked out, and even reports of showing out so badly at a campground that everyone gets kicked out. And that was just the statement that was made in KK's YouTube chat, that someone was planning to go to Doug's camp in KK's YouTube chat, that someone was planning to go to Doug's campground. They were going to create chaos and get everyone kicked out, including Doug. And her moderators, and they're saying, yeah, if you go, take pictures and update us. You know, like they're fully supporting it. I'm lagging. Okay, I'll stop talking for a minute. We'll just tap because I'm probably being reported. If I go down, just go to my backup page, which is Chris Tell the. Alrighty. So we're gonna call it what it is. Am I still lagging? Lagging bad? All right, we'll give it a minute. Maybe I'll just talk real nice to everyone. Maybe I won't tell the truth if it won't lag. You're welcome. Is that what I should do? Not tell the truth? If I don't tell the truth, it won't lag. I love the TikTok shop, actually. I bought several things for the TikTok shop just this past week. They have some cool gadgets. Some of it's like really cheap, you know, like some of the phone holders and stuff, but they work for what I need them to work for. I like gadgets. I love TikTok shop gadgets. Ain't that the truth, Jeffrey? Yeah, TikTok shop is the best. TikTok shop is the best. Thank you guys for coming in tonight and being supportive while I say what I need to say, what's been weighing heavy on my mind, especially after getting many messages from people expressing how they feel, people telling on one another. You know, when you have a plethora of so many people reach out to you asking for you to do something, then something needs to be done. So, thank you, Pine Tree. And, Jeffrey, I remember, many people being upset that Jeffrey was my moderator. How could I have Jeffrey as a moderator? Jeffrey's a good guy. Bridge. And that day, what I saw, I was very concerned about Doug. I reached out to Jeffrey. I said, "Can you please?" Is it still lagging? Has it gotten better? Yeah, that was a very bad situation. It's real bad. So if cutting in and out, okay. So if I continue speaking right now, you guys probably are like getting every other word. It's getting better for you. Okay. If it's getting better, put a 1. If it's not better, couldn't hear what I said. But we all know what we see because we see it with our own eyes. Minutes. Everyone may be looking for my old profile picture, and I changed it. Is it lagging or is it much better now? Hi, Kay Lily. It's okay. Much better. It's a 2. A 2 means lagging, DJ. If you guys want to share the live out, I'm good. Okay. Oh, Sarah, please stay in because I have something good to say about you, honey. I promise. It's all good. Because I actually have respect for you, Sarah. I think that you're a good person. Okay. All right, so I'll just start over again. Okay, so the person who's had their hands in everything, who is also Miss Innocent, had their hands in everything from SP to Scotty, Homie, Eric, and then a recent situation that she has got into a box with Truth About You. Is KK, the one who claims that she wanted a truce, claims that she wanted to fix everything with SP. But here we are. SP's been gone for months. KK is doing her awareness, quote unquote, about, going to homeless people's campsites, stalking people. We don't do that. Those are illegal acts. Let's call it what it is. KK does not do awareness. KK does online. Terrorism, terrorizing people. And when her own view counts aren't high enough, there she is, also known as Scotty Still Blue, going after Homie. So she had Scotty on one side, and then Mexican Homie going after Ding Ding, and she had Scotty doxing friends of hers. Everyone know, but did she defend her friends? Did she protect her friends that were being, quote unquote, what they say is doxing, which the term doxing is used so loosely on this app, just as, because there's a legal definition of what doxing is, just as in a DSM 4, I believe it's the new one, there's a actual definition of what narcissist is. Narcissism is a term that's used very loosely, and so is doxing. Everyone knows that KK and Scotty had a very close relationship for months. Scotty posted screenshots of their Exy talk. I can say Exy talk, and y'all get my drift. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't know who's seen all the screenshots of the late night chats that they were having. Apparently, at one point, there was talk about them meeting up at an Airbnb in California. There's a screenshot of KK saying, pack the bags. But how many times did KK step up and defend anyone? How many people have defended KK? Versus how many people she's actually stepped up and defended. So it became a big deal when Scotty and KK fell out. But we can't miss the timing. The split came right around the time that Scotty helped Doug to get sober and land a job. So essentially, Scotty was not happy that KK had streamed the meeting. So Doug made a quick video of him in an AA meeting. And the reason why he did that is because he wanted to prove to the trolls that he was actually there, because he felt that they wouldn't believe him. He felt they would not believe him, so that's why he made a video a very quick video to prove that he was there. He didn't have to prove that to anybody. And he shouldn't have had to feel that he needed to prove that to someone. But if you go look at KK's views now on YouTube, you'll see that they're way down because their only content was Doug. KK keeps people around for her. And when they're not, well, they get dropped. I'm not defending Scotty. I'm just saying that I've watched Camper Crew long enough to know how it works. I've been around a long time, and I've seen how that group plays. And KK's used everyone to fight her battles. She's used Homie to fight her battles. She's used Eric to create chaos. She used Scotty when it served her. And even Ding Ding admits that he fought for her over and over again. She never fights her own battles. She just pulls strings and lets others do the dirty work. She used Eric and she used Scotty to do her dirty work. And she pitted them against one another. She didn't want them to speak to one another. She didn't want them to like one another. And here's the truth about her. She's a user, a liar, and a disgrace to the awareness community that she pretends to care about. And she's only here for herself. If she's not monetized and not making money, much time on social media, invest that much time, you have to ask yourself why. If they're not making money, then maybe they have an obsession. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. She's probably thrown some money to her people during battles to make herself look good, but it's not genuine. It's just optics. Just optics. Let's not forget that she learned her game from SP. She knows that she needs a loyal, desperate base to survive. And let's face it, many members of the Camper Crew that were reeled in were in situations themselves where they desired friendships in a place that they felt that they would belong. And Camper Crew was very good at making people feel that they belonged and they were loved. And they'll do that today. They'll get off of lives and everybody's like, I love you. You're my family. It's not family. You people don't even know who one another is. So when SP first started falling, when I first started bringing awareness, she was pulling in about sometimes 700 to 1,000 people per live. By the time that Ding Ding left, she was down maybe 75 to 100 people. And let me set the record straight. Ding Ding likes to say that he was the first to walk away, but he left after about 80 to 90% of SP's followers were already gone. Maybe the first moderator that left during that time frame. Many moderators had left prior to that, but plenty of other people had stepped back before him. Ding Ding was to Scotty before there was a Scotty. Maybe Ding Ding had a little bit of jealousy there. So he wanted to be the best troll, the number one troll. But Eric was terrorizing people long before. And once you cross that line, there's no good way about it. And I put good in quotations. You're guilty, just like KK, mailing things to people, stirring up drama, hiding behind discords and plotting plotting what you're going to do next. The secret places. The secret places. If I sat here and listed everything that KK's done over the past 16 months, we'd be here for weeks. If I laid everything out that I have on her, we'd be here even longer. We've hit the point where there cannot be a truce, not with someone who's been playing everyone, running through multiple discords, fights, manipulating narratives, holding on to receipts that only she's seen, which is the receipts from SP's donors, and expecting the rest of us to just take her word for it. So here's what needs to happen. KK, I'm asking that you turn over all of those receipts, the receipts from SP's donors, to a neutral third party. Someone like Sarah Jones, I would trust with those receipts. And that's someone that I believe the community trust would be Sarah Jones. People need to stop blindly trusting you and stop letting you spin the story. And people need to start fact-checking you. We know that SP was a scammer, but we also know that you were thrown out of that group in October. You only got away because I weakened SP, giving you the opening to slip away, just like Ding Ding. And let's be real, Ding Ding, you've been mad. You've been high, you've been ranting, you've been screen recording, I've seen it all. But you're scared of your own damn shadow. You can't protect anyone. You can't even protect yourself. And KK, you've spent months playing people, lying, manipulating everything from the shadows. The time for pretending is over. You've done the damage. You've left the wreckage. The mask is falling off. I want to talk about Tara for a moment. Now, when I went live and I talked about Tara, I shared that I had the autopsy report. Her mother couldn't get the report. I got the report for her. When I got the report, I held that report for hours in my hand before Mom to go over the autopsy results with her, because at that point, she had thought that Tara's mother thought that Tara had passed due to a heart attack. And it was not a heart attack. Tara was pushed to the edge, to the limits. She had been clean for a long period of time. She was doing better, but people continued to terrorize Tara, and she wanted to fight back. She did, but she couldn't. She wasn't strong enough, y'all. She wasn't strong enough. And she did use. And that's what unalived her. She was pushed to that point, just like Doug. Doug was coping the best way that he could. Tara had to do what she needed to do to cope, what she felt she needed to do to cope, unfortunately. And no one should ever be pushed to that point. She did. Tara reached out to so many people, and there are some really good people on here who were trying their best to help Tara, and they were her friend. Tara wanted it to stop so bad. But Tara's daughter's 18. Her name is Isabella. She began doing her own research on here, asking questions, going to different people that she knew that communicated with her mom. She read her mom's page. And from her mom's page, she reached out to people and asked questions. She reached out to SP. And SP claimed that, oh, yes, I know your mom. I loved your mom. And SP told Isabella, Tara's daughter, that she had many text exchanges between her and Tara. Isabella asked if she would share them, and SP refused. SP blocked her. So after I held that live about Tara, KK went after Tough as Flower. And she posted, KK claimed that, she loved Tara. She had never said a vile word about Tara, and that she loved her. So she posted screenshots from the mod chat of her communications about Tara. But of course, she only posts what she wants y'all to see. She doesn't post everything. She claims that she had never said a vile word about Tara, but bear with me, y'all. So when she posted those screenshots, she claimed in her screenshots that she had never said a vile word about Tara. But this is actually what she did say. She didn't tell y'all that. Can y'all read that all right? And then she also talks about money that's being exchanged. Why is there always money exchanged back and forth in that community? But she claims that she's a very vile human. And that's what they have been dealing with all day. You can't see it. I can make it bigger. Is that better? So what KK wanted y'all to see was that she wasn't saying anything that wasn't nice. She loved Kara. That's what she wanted y'all to believe. But here are the things that she doesn't want y'all to see. Now, Isabella is Tara's 18-year-old. Reach out to me. So I did reach out to KK after I had a conversation with Isabella, because Isabella did not want KK posting anything on her page about her mother. So I respectfully, this is me. KK, Tara's daughter has seen posts on your page regarding her late mother. She asked me to reach out to you. She asked that you immediately remove all the posts regarding her mother. She's a young 18-year-old who's mourning the loss of her mother. Please respect her wishes and remove them. But did KK remove them? No. Whether or not they're still there, I don't know. But she told Tara's daughter, Isabella, that she wasn't going to remove them. Come on, 18-year-old child of a mother. I mean, her mother lost her life due to what she was pushed over the edge. What is this one here? So this is KK, what she posted on her page. Because she's saying that Tough as Flower was saying that she hated her, right? That she hated Tara. She's like, I didn't post. Feel free to post it. Let's see. If there was anything vile that I didn't post, feel free to post it. but don't lie about me and keep my name out of your mouth, tough as flour. So she's saying right here, if there's anything that she didn't post on her page, feel free to post it. So I just posted for you all what she did not post. The mod starting late August. How could I hate someone I didn't even know? So she wanted all of her followers to believe that she didn't feel that way about Tara. And how could she have felt that way about Tara? She had only been a mod for a short while for SP. You're going to have to take a screenshot to be able to see what she actually wrote up there. That was portions of a private mod chat. So there's the messages from a mod chat where she said that she allegedly spoke so vile about Tara. This one. Oh, let's talk about the dog. KK was going live daily giving out updates. And the whole time she was in on the dog being stolen. And this is somebody sent me screenshots. Scotty says, I hate lying, KK. And KK says, you were doing so good at it. And you had me second guessing what was happening. Hey, I was throwing things out there too about animal control. Sometimes lying is for the best. Wow. So the whole time, KK knew that the dog was, she knew everything about the whole dog stealing situation. Someone who lies to you? Or do you want to support people who share truth with you? Because if they're lying about one thing, what else are they lying about? When somebody lies, then everything they say becomes. How can you believe anything else that one person is saying? One second, I'll be right back. All right, what else do we got? Oh, she wanted y'all to believe that the tenant, she keeps going live tormenting the tenant. KK, why do you like tormenting people? Stop fucking tormenting people. That tenant that you want to make everyone believe destroyed your house. Let me put some more screenshots up for y'all since I never show proof. So this was her living room. You can see right here, that's laminate floor, all torn up. There's KK's little rug to cover up the torn up floor. But when she showed you guys the tenant was for her, the tenant to fix things along the way. And she was fixing little things. That's another picture. That's how disgusting the trailer was that KK lived in. This is before the tenant even moved in. That's how KK lived. There's a picture with the whole tenant thing. Was the fact that that tenant had a temporary financial hardship. The woman had young children, had a child who was autistic. The woman worked full time. She was in an auto accident. Her knees were split from side to side, both of them. She had sutures paid, which was her mortgage. She needed her electric paid, her car note paid, her water bill paid. She needed everything paid. So she reaches out for help one time. Why couldn't she have been more empathetic to this mother who she had a medical emergency. She was in a car wreck. So the tenant was forced to go back to work against medical advice so that she could make enough money to get her and her children into a new residence. But KK still continues to go live and to post videos tormenting this tenant about her money. The TikTok is not the place to go with that information, KK. Go to court, handle it with the courts. Don't take it. But she's like, hey, KK says leave kids out of it. Oh, this one right here. KK talks about the dark web. That's when she was trying so hard to find out who I was. And KK says that she would need to use the dark web. And when she got called out about it, she said she claimed that she was planting a message. She only mentioned it once because she had a feeling. And she hates when her gut feelings are correct. Human. Because that's not what you told your followers. You told your followers that you loved her and you'd never said a vile word about her, but yet you called her a vile human. Isn't that calling her a vile name? What else do we have? Oh, this was Scotty and KK, their love affair. Scotty said they could probably both use some TLC. KK says, get your bags. Again, manipulating men so that they would continue doing her dirty work for her. No telling what she's done to manipulate Eric. Okay, y'all remember when Scotty said the N-word? And everyone went ballistic because KK wouldn't show that on the YouTube. She edited everything out. Here you go, right here. KK's talking to Scotty, and she's like, it's already edited. It's already unlisted because I'm editing it. She was covering for him. But yet, how many times did she go after Doug for saying the same word? Not equal playing fields, KK. Not equal playing fields. So is that someone that you want to support? Someone who, behind the scenes, is covering up for the person that's doing her dirty work, the same person that she wants to pack a bag and head to an Airbnb with. These are behind the scene things. People have been sending me screenshots, y'all. Crimes. And Tammy herself says any communication when you don't want it is could be a cyber crime, cyber stalking. But yet it's okay when y'all do that to Doug, right? It's just not okay when the same thing that KK's been doing for a very long time, all while running with SP and now doing it on her own without SP. Is So why is it okay for KK, but it's not okay for other people? See, not level playing fields. Oh, okay. So is when very early August is when KK filed to evict the tenant so that she wouldn't, quote unquote, have to go into foreclosure. But yet she had gifted Scotty. And I told you guys they took Blue from Doug. And there they go, right here, getting ready to take Dolly. KK was in on it the whole time. Take one dog from the man. Now you're going to take his second dog. Thank goodness he still has Dolly. It appears that he loves Dolly. She was having someone else do her dirty work. This is just recently. KK about $240. No, that was about $240 that she had in points here. No, that's not it. Some of these might be too big for the screen. Look, KK wants to claim that that love affair between her and Scotty was not consensual or mutual. James Dude, she released this information. Can't really read it, but it's personal. It shouldn't be released to just anybody. Go in real life. And right here, you can't really see it all, but oh boy, no. Y'all need to see this one. KK's claiming that the only way she can get people to do anything is if she sleeps with them. Again, manipulating all these men behind the scenes. Oh, you need me to try and shrink it? She is married, as far as I know. But this is, the character of the person that people have been supporting. Our followers rely on us to share truth with them. Our character is important. Who we are as a person should be very important to the people you follow. If you're following someone, then if I'm following someone, I'm following someone who I feel has a good character, who I can go to and rely on the information that they're sharing is truthful. Let me change that so y'all can see it better. Let's see. Yeah, you may have to take a screenshot of it. I think that's the best I'm going to be able to get it for you guys. Let you guys get your screenshot. Let me know when y'all ready. I'll move on to the next one. But apparently, I don't know, KK, I don't know why. I mean, people do things for me all the time. I don't have to sleep with them to get things done. I don't roll like that. Oh, it's not okay, especially when you're a married woman. So that goes back to the character of the person that, her followers, her followers are following her, but look at the character of the person. And that's the one of her saying that Tara was a very vile human. July the 31st, she had approximately $81 that she gifted to Scotty during a battle. July the 31st, but yet she was making videos claiming that she may go with a foreclosure because her tenant's making her not be able to pay her rent. I mean, she had money right there. She could have cashed that out. But yet, she was love bombing, which we know Camper Crew does, love bombs. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Here's Ding Ding right here. He's with Camper Squad. There's Tamper Foles, who used to be a huge gifter for Chris Moneystealer. Yo, I have more screenshots. I could hold a whole live and just show screenshots. There are so many. So many. Yeah. Yeah, Tammy, when Nikki and the kids were there. I don't know how you feel about it, Tammy, but just out of concern, I don't think you're a bad person at all. I think that you've been fooled, like many others have been fooled. And they fool people like you, people who they see who are gifting beggars or what they consider the pick of the litter. And when I gave that whole analogy that time during my live, when I was talking about um, pack mentality, alpha dogs, all that, I wasn't referring to you guys as animals, as a dog. I was just trying to give an analogy. I'm glad that you've not given any more money. I wouldn't advise giving anyone money on this app. She was fooled. Tammy was fooled. She thought that she was helping SP get a lawyer. I guess to go after me, but of course SP didn't get a lawyer. Right here. This is Isabella's daughter going to KK and saying, I'm the one who wants it taken down. I'm not trying to make anyone mad. I want it to be laid to rest. I'm tired of people using my mother, is basically what she was saying. So after I reached out to KK with my, if you have a problem, reach out to me privately. So as an adult, I reached out to her and respectfully asked her to remove it. And when she didn't, that's when Isabella went to KK. I don't understand how she wouldn't. I mean, me, had that kid, 18-year-old, come to me and said, hey, I'm assuming that they have since been taken down. And I would certainly hope that they have been taken down. Get into it. I just couldn't agree with some things that were happening. You know, my page is about sharing truth, and that's what I'm going to do. That's what I am doing. So I couldn't agree with what she was doing. I only wished the best for them. That's all I've ever wanted, was the best for them. But yeah, Tammy, um, you know, you're an adult. You can do what you want. I just hope that people's eyes have been opened with just some of the screenshots that I've shared tonight, just to prove that she presents herself as something different than what she truly is. Same thing as P did. Hold on one moment, y'all. You're welcome. And the other thing, oh, I do need to plug up my phone. Hold on. have the squeakiest chair. I need some WD-40. Okay, I had to plug my phone in. Battery's getting low. Yeah, the YouTube chats, Sissy. You said it best right there. The YouTube chats should prove to everyone about her character. Thank you, Karma's bestie. Karma's bestie said that she's gonna post some clips tomorrow. No, be folded. Nikki was not scamming. I think Nikki was taken advantage of. But I'm just gonna leave that there. The person who was the fake husband, the one who started the page called Nikki's Upgrade, I found that they had been a supporter of SPs, and I screenshotted their Reddit page. It proved that they were a supporter of SPs, and then they went and claimed that they sent me a message and claimed that they were never a supporter of SPs, when in fact they were. So why would a supporter of SPs, go to Nikki and try and woo her? I think it's very fishy if you ask me. Again, someone who's vulnerable. And Nikki, people know that there are civil suits and all of that. There was a good reason for people to go and try and manipulate her. I don't know, Terry. I can't answer that question. I don't know if it started out as just kind of a fun thing, and then, I'm only speculating, and I really don't even want to speculate, because I think that would be unfair for me to speculate. I don't want to create a false perception of something that isn't, because I just honestly can't answer that question. Yes, overcome. Thank you. That I want to get back to that, because I did mention that KK had involved Truth About You in something. So KK had received a call from someone that they called her original screen name on here was Chaotic Amy. So if anyone remembers, when I first started calling out SP and bringing awareness to SP, someone had requested a box. I let her up, and she cussed me out from one end to the next. And I didn't say anything. I just let her cuss me. I said to myself, this woman does not know me. She obviously has some anger she needs to get out. It has nothing to do with me, and I knew that because she didn't know me. So I just let her get it out. There was another time she came back into my life, and she did apologize to me in a box. Y'all remember that? Yeah. So that lady, Amy, had reached out to KK, had called her. KK had played the messages or something, the voice messages or the screenshots of the phone call. And so Amy, there's someone on here named Jalen. And Truth About You covers Jalen. And Amy had reached out to Jalen because Jalen had black eyes. She had noticed that she had multiple black eyes in a very short period of time. So out of concern, regardless if she were a scammer or not, This is what Amy had said when she went live. Regardless, she was a scammer or not, she was concerned about the woman. Amy said, if you see something, you say something. And so she reached out to ask that woman and make sure that woman was okay. But then Truth About You covers Jalen. And at one point, someone else, the roommate, was using Amy's TikTok. And they were live with Jalen. So they were side by side in a box. And what was said was that Amy was talking about Truth About You's deceased baby. And so Truth About You had did some research and posted a photo of Amy's deceased son in her background. And at first she said that he had probably passed away from an auto accident because the mother, Amy, there's a photo of her standing next to a road with a cross. So she was just assuming that he had passed from an auto accident. But she was basically holding the picture of that 18-year-old boy who was deceased on her backboard in her live. Hold on, I gotta fix my puzzle. Oops, I didn't do it. Hold on. Okay, so essentially, Truth About You wanted an apology from Amy because she said that Amy spoke about her deceased baby. But then in another live, Truth About You had said that it wasn't Amy, it was someone else. So there's no proof. I've never seen a video of Amy saying anything about Truth About You's unalived daughter, but Truth About You says that her page is an eye for an eye. So you talk about my kid, I'm going to talk about yours. But there's no proof whatsoever. But regardless, she has a picture, or had, I don't know if she still does, posted in her live of Amy's deceased son. And he wasn't killed in an auto accident. 18 years old. He was shot in the neck while at a gas station by someone who had had 4 priors, and because he was a juvenile, he got away with it. But this time he's actually been prosecuted and he's incarcerated for a long period of time. So he was unalived at a gas station. And that boy's picture had been posted. Basically held for ransom for an apology for something that the mother never even said. So all alone, it wasn't the mother. Yeah, you don't talk about kids. You certainly don't post pictures of someone's unalived child. I completely disagree with that. I think that's absolutely disgusting. And then get it all wrong and say that the kid was, passed away due to an auto accident. I mean, she covers true crime, but didn't know that that kid had truly been unalived due to a horrific crime. But again, that all goes back to KK. And then KK takes her information to Mexican Homie. So now Mexican Homie's going after Amy based off of KK's misinformation. And in all actuality, there's no video of Amy actually talking about Truth About You's child because it doesn't exist because Amy never talked about the child. The Mexican Homie just went with KK, with whatever KK said. That's why it's so important for creators who bring awareness. We need to do our own research, not rely on other people to do research for us or just give us stuff. People do give us stuff. We need to do our own research on the information that's given to us because ultimately the information that we put out to you all, it needs to be truthful and factual. Yeah, she is. Bethany. Is KK really a landlord? That's really her trailer in Oklahoma. She was a landlord, but she booted the tenant out. Sissy says she's going to start hanging out on crocheting pages. I don't blame you. Whose name did you have to go in and clear, Megan? Yeah, I saw that Gamecock gal. You know, yes, Melissa, I agree with you 100%. But the people that we choose, our friends mirror us. And I've always been very selective in my choice of friends, because our friends can influence us very easily. And people who I am friends with, those are people who I would feel comfortable bringing home to meet my family. You know, there are people on this app who create an entire character that is false so that they can give you all the perception that there's something that they are not. KK is still on the app if you're asking about KK. Who are you talking about, Megan? Yeah, Skinny, you're right. I've noticed that just from my experience on this app is that the old saying, birds of a feather flock together. They really do. Tammy, I also keep my circles small um, on this app, on any social media page. Yes, people judge us by who we hang out with. They sure do. No one is committed to continuing to follow someone if, your eyes have been opened. You begin to learn information that you didn't know before. With SP, for example, look at how many people SP fooled. Don't allow yourselves to be fooled again. Yes, Gamecock. A lot of people did. I am so relieved that everyone finally began to see that, she was no good. She didn't love you guys. You guys weren't her friends. She was using everyone. And no one could get to her. It was very difficult to get in and spread awareness. You couldn't get through that front door. And some of those moderators that were in there, they were tight with that woman. You cannot tell me that some of those moderators, I'm not saying everybody, but they cannot tell me some of those moderators did not know what was going on. Yes, one rotten apple can ruin it. Megan, who are you talking about? I'm still confused on who you're talking about. Maybe I missed it. Right. And I'm not here spreading hate. I am not hating on anyone. I am just giving you guys the truth. I shared screenshots with you guys, um, and you can see it with your own eyes. It's not just my perception, it was all facts. Sarah, would you feel comfortable taking um, hold of all of the screenshots that have been given to KK from the people who have donated to SP? Yes, the truth is not hate. Thank you. Okay. So Sarah said that she would feel comfortable taking all of the screenshots that the fact that the receipts that KK has been given from people who trust us to be able to do the right thing with those screenshots. So, KK, if you could kindly turn those screenshots over to Sarah, it would be much appreciated. Yeah, and if everyone could just Google what doxing is, because it's used very loosely on this app. What some people say is doxing, it is not the legal definition of what doxing is. But back to that incident with Amy's son that was posted in Truth About You's live. Truth About You admitted that the night that that live occurred, when someone allegedly spoke about her baby, when Amy was accused of speaking about her baby, Truth About You admitted that she wasn't even on the live, that she had received calls from people. So I don't know if it was KK that called Truth About You. I don't know. But if she did, KK has a reason to not like Amy. And so then I could see her, maybe sharing some misinformation. But there is no proof that Amy said anything about her kid. I just hope that all that gets cleared up, because I just think it's sad for someone's kid to be posted who was, literally unalived at 18 years old while sitting in their vehicle at a gas station. I looked up the whole case. That mother was in court. It was a 3-year long case, and that mother was there for every single hearing. You know, I talked about Eric, um, Scotty Still Blue, who was another one that KK pitted Scotty and Scotty Still Blue against one another. Um, she's used both of these men, manipulated both of these men. We've seen screenshots between KK and Scotty, their love affair. She was clearly um, manipulating this man. But I had a conversation with Scotty Still Blue. I shared with him information that I know to be factual and that I knew who he was. And he agreed to leave the app. And so he should be gone. At one point, he was clearly supporting SP, running around this app with my mole that I had in the beginning with his profile picture for months. And that was a true doxed picture. That was a photo that was shared privately between two people. And 954 is the one who released that photo to SP, and then SP shared it with the Chris Mosteller account. It was Eric. So Eric has been involved with SP for a very long time, SP and KK. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed the pinned comment. Do you mind pinning it again for me? I'm sorry, I missed it. Mercy May. I'm glad to see you here. Mercy May is someone who's been around for a very, very long time. She was shunned from their quote unquote community based on a private conversation that she had with someone. And I believe that Mercy May was shunned from their community because Mercy May knows too much. And they wanted to get rid of her because she knows too much. One moment, y'all. Well, the homies absolutely. Now, in the beginning, homie was running around with SP. I actually have some, I can touch on homie. So, about a year ago, mid year, yeah, it's been almost a year now, a little less than a year, Mexican homie actually threatened me. Back then, he was running side by side with KKSP Camper Crew. He was Camper Crew. And attacking anyone who stood against SP. He came into my box one time and he made it very clear that he stands 10 toes down with SP and supports her 1000%. At that time, he was quite full of himself. He would sit back and brag, saying that he would sit in his office and run NCIC checks on people daily, acting like a complete fool because knowing that he's a felon and knowing that he can't run NCIC checks on people. So, yeah, he was absolutely bullying during that time. He had threatened me that he was going to find my location. He was going to locate me by Friday of that week. I didn't receive any phone calls from homie. So I did my research and I had already located homie. So I reached out to homie. First, I texted him and he claimed that I had the wrong number. And then I called, didn't answer the phone. But then it went to a voice message, and I'm like, well, that's his voice. It's his phone. I knew it was. So at that, I told him, and this is what I told him. I told him he had 5 minutes. I texted him and said, you got 5 minutes to answer your phone, or you're going to go from the Mexican homie to the Mexican phony. And he said, call me. So I did, and we talked. We had a come to Jesus meeting, so to speak. And in that conversation, he saw the light. My biggest problem was SP being in that box and exploiting those children. Every single day that he would go live, SP was in there, and that's all she would talk about, and it needed to stop. He eventually he did, and that's I wanted SP out, get SP out of that box, and he did. Um, SP was no longer in the box. He got back. He returned to real awareness work, and he straightened up for a while. He actually did. He did really good for a while, and I respected that. But then recently, during this so-called truce, old patterns began to show up again. Someone was feeding him bad information to fight their battles. Even Ding Ding has admitted that KK was passing Homie misinformation and that she could have stopped it, but she didn't. And that Homie kept attacking Ding Ding because of her. But it's kind of like a classroom when you have a classroom full of students that are failing. You got one kid that says, well, I got a 55 on my paper. Another kid says, I got a 60. But in the end, they're actually all failing. So, yes, he began to fail there towards the end using misinformation from, of course, KK. But he did. He changed. He stayed clean. And as a felon, that should have mattered to him. But then fast forward a couple of months, and that's when he got entangled with the Amy situation, who was a non Amy is a non-content creator, by the way. She's a regular person on the app, like everybody else, you know. But he got involved with that because of KK, and then a lot of stuff happened. But and that big accusation was that Amy spoke about a deceased child. But no one's ever produced a video or proof of Amy saying that. And then Truth About You had admitted that Amy had just allowed people to talk about it, but didn't speak it herself. But still, Homie went live pointing fingers and stirring up drama and spreading lies. And where did that information come from? We all know it traces right back to KK. So there, towards the end, Homie did let himself get pulled right back into the camper crew mess, fighting KK's battles. You know, in awareness, we shouldn't be. In awareness, we don't need to be attacking people because of someone else's personal beef. That's not awareness. That's what camper crew calls awareness. They target people that they don't like. In awareness, we expose true scams or dangers. What he should have done is he should have asked for the receipts and demanded proof before even going live with accusations. And you know that muddies your awareness because once you lie on one person, people have to wonder who else are you lying on. Liza Tamara, was there a comment that was pinned that I should read? Is that the real Doug? Or is that a fake Doug? Okay. There have been so many fake accounts made on you, Doug. I never know. Oh, and I also want to touch on this because it still pisses me off. When I held a live last year about KK and showed some receipts, she had accused me of, and she told people that I body shamed her child. That was a total lie. Show the receipt. I never body shamed your child. That would be disgusting for anyone to do. Now, what I did talk about was just the fact that she had a lot of followers, and that when I did my research on KK, I researched multiple pages. And for safety purposes, she should be more mindful. I don't want to get into it all. I really don't. But I just want to say I never body shamed her child. Telling a parent or suggesting to a parent to be more mindful of what your daughter is wearing when they're going on TikTok or social media, public platform, on a public page is not body shaming your daughter. It's common sense. It's like, know what your kids are doing. That's all. Know what your children are doing. You know, that's all. That's all it was. I would never, ever say anything like that about a kid. I think you meant you didn't hear me say that, right? Or, yes. And I should have never posted the screenshot that I did. That was wrong of me. I did cover her daughter up. No one would have known that that was her daughter. It was the message that I was sharing. Um, but I did cover her daughter, and it was wrong of me. I should have never posted it. So, and that's all I want to say about that. We all make mistakes. That was a mistake that I made, and I own it. But what I didn't do was body shame anyone. Yeah, right. Canine. I didn't body shame. I would never do that. That's disgusting. But what she did do is make her daughter think that I did. And then, of course, involved her daughter in it. And that's from KK's post. KK posted about how that her daughter felt that adults were talking about her body. Why would you say that to your child? That's sick. Can y'all imagine going to your teenager and saying that adults on the internet were talking about your body? Like, really? A victim all the time. I guarantee you there's going to be a gazillion posts tomorrow. You can't. KK knows about everything that happens on this app. You can't fart and KK not smell it. KK can't take any kind of criticism, even constructive criticism. She's going to make a post. She has to run and make a fucking post about it. Everything. She creates her own damn issues, and then she whines and cries when people defend themselves. People have every damn right to defend themselves. And then twist things and over exaggerate. Always over exaggerate shit. KK, come on, stop over exaggerating shit. It's crazy. Never seen anything like it in my life. If you're gonna be in quote unquote awareness, you gotta have some thick skin. Every time you get on live, you push that button and you go live. I guarantee you, there's gonna be people that don't like what you have to say, and when they talk about it, you can't whine about it. Oh my God, yes, that. Because of the live that I had, she told everyone that I made her afraid for her safety because she finally felt safer that she moved further away from her abuser because she was away from Oklahoma and in the state that she's currently in, which is bullshit because she actually moved closer to her said abuser. So again, that was all for sympathy. All for sympathy. And all I'm going to say about a DV situation is there's two sides to every story. There's two sides. Yeah, smoke and mirrors and muddy the waters. Make it so damn confusing that people don't know what the hell's going on. I'm not here to confuse you guys. I'm here to tell you the facts. There's more that I want to cover. I hope that Eric stays away. I hope that Eric realizes he's been used. He's been used just like Scotty was used. And if I would be real pissed off to know that I had been used by somebody. Tammy, are you still in here? Is Tammy still in here? Yeah, it's pretty apparent, pretty obvious that Ding Ding's had it with KK. Was anyone surprised to hear that KK was involved and knew where Blue was all the time, the whole time, even though she was going live and pretended that she didn't know? She was giving updates regularly. Now, those updates, she was lying to people. You don't see Tammy? Yeah, for the views. For the views. Yes, thank you for reminding me of that. Who the hell knows where Blue is now? Because Lintlicker had Blue. Lintlicker got spooked when it came out that she had Blue. So apparently she got rid of Blue. And now nobody knows where the hell Blue is. So who knows if Blue's really in a better place? So was a dog really saved? I hope so, but we don't know. Nope, he doesn't. He had gotten a dog that was the same breed as Blue was. Liza Tamari would take care of Blue. I know that for a fact. She's wonderful with animals. Charlotte said she knows. Well, hopefully he's in a good place. I'm sure that Blue was very confused. You know, even when, we were concerned when Chris was outside, we know his history with animals. I held alive about that. We were concerned he was outside welding, demonstrated welding with Loki right next to the welding, whatever you call that thing. When he was welding, it was really close to the dog's eyes. We were very concerned about that. So we did what we felt was the right thing to do because we were concerned. So we reached out to animal control. Animal control paid a visit. They said that the dog was fine. So what did we do? We said, okay. We didn't take matters into my own hands, and I'm going to go and steal the dog. Welding flash, thank you. Yeah, we called animal control. They did their thing. They investigated. The dog was fine, and so we let it go. Yes, Loki was fine. That's what the animal control officer said. Our concern was that his eyes might be burnt from the welding flash because he was very close. He was right up against it. But my point was, we didn't take matters into our own hands. Does he? I haven't seen him. You're afraid of dogs, Gamecock? Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Oh, I can understand that. Yeah, that can be traumatic. It is beautiful, Jeffrey. I wanted something peaceful for my life. You're right about that, sissy. And I promise I'm not going to make a bunch of videos about you for criticizing me. I knew that there was going to be people, think people, no matter what. And I touched on him a bit, cool mom. Um, but he's apparently no longer on the app. There's more I do want to talk about, but I'm going to hold off for another live because I've talked a lot tonight. Yeah, there's going to be people who continue to support other creators on here no matter what. I can use the analogy of there are people who are going to support people who are beggars and scammers no matter what. And we just have to accept that. We can't force anyone's hand at who they choose to support and who they don't. But I do think it's important to look at the character of the person that you do choose to support. I've never came on here and lied to you guys about things. I've spoken the truth about what I've shared with y'all. It took a very long time and it was a process to bring the awareness to SP, to finally get her off of this app. And I knew it was going to take a long time. I mean, when I first started holding lives, she was having 700 to 1,000 people in lives, and I had them all coming at me. I didn't have like a whole gang of people to fight for me. You know, I had people, a very small group, y'all. When I say small, I mean tiny, tiny, tiny. I didn't have a gang of people to defend me. I don't need anyone to defend me. So these people like KK, who can't fight her own battles, who always, I did absolutely have Otto. He stood by me and was in my box beside me on many lives. People don't, if you need someone to fight your own battles for you, then awareness is no place for you. If you can't stand on your own 2 feet, then you don't need to be an awareness creator. Because you should have nothing to hide if you're here to tell the truth, right? You shouldn't need someone to defend you if you're just here to tell the truth. And that's what you all want to hear, is the truth. And you deserve to hear the truth. You're committing your time to listen to these lives. You deserve to hear truth. Discords are a bad place to be. Yes, yes, the secret places. There is a lot more to be told. And I hope that KK thinks about, she's going to hear my live. She may be listening now. But I truly hope that she changes the way she has done things. She's tainted. Everything is tainted. She is forever branded Camper Crew. If you, most awareness creators on this app has never supported SP, the Camper Crew. There's no place that they can go. So I don't know what the future holds for KK on this app. But she was given a chance and she failed. I started receiving all these receipts from people. Yeah, the National Enquirer. I've always said that about SP. It's like, the National Enquirer, everybody bought it, but no one believed it. Yes, thank goodness they stepped up. Yep. Good night, Otto. All right, guys, I think I'll end tonight's live, but we're going to hold another live because there's more information I want to talk about. Oh, I bet they sound so cool. Let me see. There is another screenshot I wanted to show. Let me see if I can find it. Is that it? Oh, here we go. So KK doesn't care about views. Remember, she doesn't care about views. But oh my God, she is so super excited right here because you guys are seriously so amazing. I'm almost to 10,000. That was when she was almost to 10,000 followers. And that was a big day for her. She was so excited, but those views don't matter. Those followers don't matter. Almost to 10,000 followers. But that's not what's important to her. Remember that. Maybe I'll hold the live and just show screenshots the whole live. We'll do a screenshot live. If this live has helped you to open your eyes and see things from a very different perspective than what you saw them before, please feel free to reach out to me. All right, guys, thank you all so much for coming in here tonight. Thank you to my moderators. Um, I think the chat went great tonight. While I was reading, I wasn't watching the chat, so I didn't know if you guys had to boot many people out or not. How was it? Did y'all have to boot many people out? I appreciate y'all taking the time out of your evening to spend it here and to listen to what I had to share. You held it down. It wasn't too bad. Good. Okay. Well, we always expect that, right? And that's okay. Um, that's okay. But I'll make an announcement for my next live, and we'll cover more because I definitely have more to say. You're very welcome, kindness. Oh, and um, another thing I want to say, one thing that was important to me with that whole truce that we originally had was that, you know, KK reach out to the people that she has caused distress to. Um, and I don't think that telling, making a generalized statement that if I have ever done something to you, please reach out to me. Because if you've done something to people, you know who you've done it to and what you have done. And damn, if a victim should have to reach out to you, you need to reach out to all the people that you have victimized because you know damn well what you have done to people. Period. And these people did not deserve it. And so I don't want to see posts tomorrow of KK playing the damn victim because she's not a victim. But there are a lot of victims, people that have been victimized by Camper Crew. Now, when I say Camper Crew, there are people that may take that as though I'm talking about everyone who's involved, because that was what they called everyone who followed SP was Camper Crew. I'm not speaking on everyone that was involved as a follower or supporter of SPs. I'm referring to the people who know that they were guilty, and they know who they were. They knew who they are, that victimized others for SP. At one point, they were untouchable. They're no longer untouchable. Yeah, if someone is, hell, if I were scared for my life, I sure as hell wouldn't be on a social media app. All right, everyone. Okay, it's good night for real. Everyone, have a great night. And hopefully, I see you guys back again soon. I'll make an announcement for you guys before my next live. Good night, everyone. I really appreciate y'all. We made it without getting a violation. Fortunately, I've never gotten a violation, knock on wood. Good night. Good night. See you guys soon.